We continue the Abdullah Yusuf Ali translation of the Quran with Suwrah Hajj, the pilgrimage. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. O mankind, fear your Lord, for the convulsion of the hour will be a thing terrible. The day ye shall see it, every mother giving suck shall forget her suckling babe, and every pregnant female shall drop her load, unformed. Thou shalt see mankind as in a drunken riot, yet not drunk, but dreadful will be the wrath of God. And yet among humanity there are such as dispute about God without knowledge, and follow every evil one, obstinate in rebellion about the evil one. It is decreed that whoever turns to him for friendship, him will he lead astray, and he will guide him to the penalty of the fire. O mankind, if ye have a doubt about the resurrection, consider that we created you out of dust, then out of sperm, then out of a leech-like clot, then out of a morsel of flesh, partly formed and partly unformed, in order that we may manifest our power to you, and we cause whom we will to rest in the wombs for an appointed term. Then do we bring you out as babes, then foster you, that ye may reach your age of full strength, and some of you are called to die, and some are sent back to the feeblest old age, so that they know nothing after having known much. And further, now seest the earth barren and lifeless, but when we pour down rain on it, it is stirred to life. It swells and it puts forth every kind of beautiful growth in pairs. And this is so because God is the reality. It is He who gives life to the dead, and is He who has power over all things, and verily the hour will come. There can be no doubt about it, or about the fact that God will raise up all who were in the graves. Yet there is among men such a one as disputes about God without knowledge, without guidance, and without a book of enlightenment, disdainfully bending his side in order to lead men astray from the path of God. For him there is disgrace in this life, and on the day of judgment we shall make him taste the penalty of burning fire. It will be said, this is because of the deeds which thy hands hath sent forth, for verily God is not unjust to his servants. There are among men some who serve God, as it were, on the verge. If good befalls them, they are therewith well acquainted. Content, but if a trial comes to them, they turn on their faces. They lose both this world and the hereafter, and that is loss for all to see. And acquainted is not at that verse. Well content. They call on such as deities besides God, as can neither hurt nor profit them. And that is a straying far indeed from the way, perhaps. They call on one whose hurt is nearer than his profit. Evil indeed is the patron, and evil the companion for help. Verily God will admit those who believe and work righteous deeds to gardens beneath which rivers flow. For God carries out all that he plans. If any think that God will not help him, his messenger, in this world and the hereafter, let him stretch out a rope to the ceiling and cut himself off. Then let him see whether his plan will remove that which enrages him. Thus have we sent down clear signs, and verily God doth guide whom he will, those who believe in the Quran, those who follow the Jewish scriptures, and the Sabians, Christians, Magians, Zoroastrians, and misassociators. God will judge between them on the day of judgment, for God is a witness of all things. Seest thou not that to God bow down and worship all things that are in the heavens and on earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, the hills, the trees, the animals, and a great number among mankind, but a great number are also such as are fit for punishment, and such as God shall disgrace. None can raise to honor, for God carries out all that he wills. Alam tara annallaha yasjudu lahu man fi samawati wa man fil ardi wa shamsu wal qamaru wan nujumu wal jibalu wa shajaru wa dawamu wa kathirun الناس وكثير حق عليه العذاب ومن يهن الله فما له من مكرم الله يفعل ما يشاء. And so the prostration on the 7 points, facing Mecca, after verse 18. These two antagonists dispute with each other about their Lord, but those who deny their Lord, for them will be cut out a garment of fire, over their heads will be poured out boiling water, with it will be scalded what is within their bodies, as well as their skins. In addition, there will be maces of iron to punish them every time they wish to get away therefrom. From anguish, they will be forced back therein, and it will be said, taste ye the penalty of burning. God will admit those who believe and work righteous deeds to gardens beneath which rivers flow. They shall be adorned therein with bracelets of gold and pearls, and their garments there will be of silk, for they have been guided in this life to the purest of speeches. They have been guided to the path of him who is worthy of all praise. As to those who have rejected God and would keep back men from the way of God and from the sacred mosque, which we have made open to all men, equal is the dweller there and the visitor from the country, and any whose purpose therein is profanity or wrongdoing, them will we cause to taste of a most grievous penalty. Behold, we gave the sight to Abraham of the sacred house, saying, let me try that again. Behold, we gave the sight to Abraham of the house, saying, associate not anything in worship with me, and sanctify my house for those who compass it round, or stand up, or bow, or prostrate themselves therein in prayer, and proclaim the pilgrimage among men. They will come to thee on foot, and on every kind of camel, lean on account of journeys through deep and distant mountain highways. All rides, really. That they may witness the benefits provided for them and celebrate the name of God through the days appointed over the cattle which he has provided for them for sacrifice. Then eat ye thereof, and feed the distressed ones in want. Then let them complete the rites prescribed for them, perform their vows, and again circumambulate the ancient house. Such is the pilgrimage. Whoever honors the sacred rites of God, for him it is good in the sight of his Lord, lawful to you. For food and pilgrimage are cattle, except those mentioned to you as exemptions. But shun the abomination of idols, and shun the word that is false, being true in faith to God, and never assigning partners to him. If anyone assigns partners to God, he is as if he had fallen from heaven and been snatched up by birds, or the wind had swooped like a bird on its prey, and thrown him into a far distant place. Such is his state. And whoever holds in honor the symbols of God, and the sacrifice of animals, and the places of the pilgrimage, such honor should come truly from piety of hearts. In them ye have benefits for a term appointed. In the end of their place of sacrifice is near the ancient house. To every people did we appoint rites of sacrifice, that they may celebrate the name of God over the sustenance he gave them from animals fit for food. But your God is one God. Submit then your wills to him and Islam, and give thou the good news to those who humble themselves, to those whose hearts, when God is mentioned, are filled with fear, who show patient perseverance over their afflictions, keep up regular prayer, and spend in charity out of what we have bestowed upon them. The sacrificial animals we have made for you, as among the symbols from God. In them is much good for you. Then pronounce the name of God over them as they line up for sacrifice. When they are down on their sides after slaughter, eat ye therefore and feed such as beg but not live in contentment, and such as beg with due humility. Thus have we made animals subject to you, that ye may be grateful. It is not their meat nor their blood that reaches God. It is your piety that reaches him. He has thus made them subject to you, that ye may glorify God for his guidance to you, and proclaim the good news to all who do right. Verily God will defend, propel those who believe. Verily God loveth not any that is a traitor to faith, or shows ingratitude. Divine love is not for all of the betraying of faith and the covering and the misbelieving. And remember, Allah is the gender neutral singular definitive of God. And we're using gender neutral masculines and royal we's and that sort of thing here. And the next two verses prove something, right? The first two verses in the Quran that mention fighting are elsewhere, but the first two verses learned are the conditions mentioned in those verses. Well, there's more conditions than that, but these two verses that will follow next prove that the purpose of war in Islam is to protect not only the Muslimin, not only the masajid, but everybody's house of worship, everybody's right to religious freedom.